everybody. Whoa, my voice is deeper today. Sexy. Hello, everybody. This is me waking up out of bed. What is it, 10 a.m. here on a Sunday. And Mr. Bullock just got his snacks. And so I just wanted to do this intro for this episode here. The main reason is because this is our 4-year anniversary. And I'm so grateful for being able to reach these heights at this point. This is a good feat for me because 4 years, as I said on the 200th episode, I never envisioned getting through 4 years of an episode every week for 52 weeks, 4 times. So 208 episodes is quite amazing for me personally, just because I've never been this consistent on something, and I've never envisioned myself doing something this many times unless it was something that enhanced my life in some way, or bettered my life, like brushing my teeth or showering and things like that. Because I still struggle with, I was gonna say showering, but no, I don't struggle with showering. I struggle with working out, because that's one that is like I need to make part of my regimen. It's something I gotta consistently do, and I have been, but it's like, man, you could easily talk me out of it. But yes, but this is something very important to me. It's something just to have a platform for those who, give a voice to the voiceless. Having a place where people who have been judged their whole lives or part of their lives, they can come and be who they want to be, and without any kind of ridicule or judgment. So it's very important for me to have this place. And there's other places like this out here, and I don't just mean podcasts, but they're just hard to find. And I'm just proud to say that I created one. So anyway, guys, let's just get into the episode. It's nothing special. It's just it is special, but I'm not doing anything specific for this episode other than just having a good interview with someone who I really care about, and wanted to share her story as her and I become more friendly. She just has her own perspective, and just she has her own struggles, and I just want her to have her episode and her shine. So here we go, guys. Appreciate you guys, and let's get to it. All right, everybody, we are here again. Our next guest, she's a woman I found. I should say, I don't know what it is about me. Sometimes I kind of, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but sometimes I find people and I just see something in them, and how they say some people have gaydar or whatever. I don't know if it's just I saw that she has a disability, because she doesn't necessarily talk about her disability necessarily. She talks about mental health once in a while, but something about her just kind of, she's attractive, but it was more than that. It was something about her that made me go, oh, okay, she's kind of interesting. And so then I reached out to her, and we kind of become very friendly, and off and on we talk, and later on I found a lot more about her, but I didn't know a lot of this beforehand before I ever reached out. And so I asked her to be on, and she obliged, and we're finally here. So you want to introduce yourself, maybe tell us your name, maybe a little bit about yourself?
All right. My name is Allison. I think that when I met you, I had been posting a lot about my mental health, but okay. I definitely have a lot else going on physically, but right now I live at home. I'm trying to get my GED. I had to drop out of school for mental health reasons. So for the past, I don't know how long, I guess my whole life, I've been spending trying to make sense of what's with me.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate your honesty too, just because it's what I do every day. I talk about this shit, and it's heartbreaking at times, because it's for any person who can hear your voice, you come off as, and you are, but a very strong person, and but at times this shit breaks you down to the smallest minute part of your character, where you just are a weak little person and you can't overcome it at times, and you want to give up. And You know, like I said, when I talk to you, I'm like, oh, she's just like a sweet girl who's just going through it. But I mean, from the
Yeah.
outside, some people can see it however they want. That's just how I see it. But you know, some
Yeah.
of the things we've talked here off air and just over the months that we've talked and stuff, you know, I can tell like you really going through it.
Yeah, I try to be like an open book. I think I don't even have to try, but I know in my experience, like I started figuring out about my disabilities and myself when I was a teenager, like maybe 15, because up until that point, I didn't really go to the doctor. None of my family went to the doctor. But I knew I had something wrong with me. I always knew I had something quote quote wrong with me. But because I never was allowed to go to the doctor and I didn't know what was going on, I know that I wish that I knew someone at that time when I was younger that was open and honest about shit that I'm going through too.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's valuable. So I try to be open and honest because it's not all pretty.
No, but I also like some of your videos you do like, you know, you lip sync to some like provocative songs and whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's just your way of kind of just dealing with things. Like it's your humor. It's, you know, because like I deal with my shit. Sometimes I say really dark things, and people are like,
Hmm.
unless you've been through some shit, you probably won't find it funny, because it's
Yeah,
like, you know, I just kind of laugh things off. Like I told somebody I want to be an organ donor and I want to donate my eyes, and
that's
the
funny.
person I said it to, they were horrified. They were like, "What? Why would you say that? Why your eyes don't work?" And yeah, that's the fucking point. Like it's just because
Hmm.
I'm being an asshole. But it's like, you know, but the average person doesn't understand. Like we have to find, and we have to like dig down deep to find ways to cope with this shit. Because if we
Yeah,
sit
to
around,
make it joyful.
yeah,
Joyful.
because if we sit around and go, oh my God, I'm sad. And why am I sad? Oh my God, I'm ugly. And oh my God, this person doesn't love me. And I'm lonely. And I'm this and I'm that. And you just start destroying yourself. So it's like you have to find ways to cope with it. And sometimes it's literally just making fun of the thing that you are, or the thing that is plaguing you. It's just how you,
Yeah,
yeah.
I I think that making jokes, um, and just being humorous or I mean almost happy about that stuff is kind of a way that I make it not as big of a deal in my mind. I mean, if you keep it all inside, whatever you're feeling, whether it's physical or mental, I feel like for me, it definitely, you know, snowballs.
Yeah.
But if you can put it out there and other people see it and laugh or whatever, it makes it seem like it's not that bad. I mean, it's horrible, but it's manageable.
Yeah, and for me, that's something I've strived for, especially on social media. Is like I'll show you, hey, I got a bunch of shoes and all that and whatever, and I'll show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like I'm not gonna just show you that this is all bad, and
Hmm.
that's referring to my other problems with my eyes and the chronic pain and stuff. I'll show you that like this isn't all bad, but I might show you a day where I'm sad and I'm angry
Yeah,
because I'm frustrated because life is just, why is everything got to be so fucking hard? And
yeah,
I'm just in the thrills of it, or in the thralls of it, and I'm just getting strangled by it. And I'm just like, look, this is how I feel today. I know yesterday I
yeah,
felt happy joy, and that was real, but that is not how I always feel. And this is how, but like I said, at the same time, I don't want everyone. That's why I don't have people come on and go, "Oh, I have a disability and life is over." Because look, there are a bunch of us. There are a bunch of us that are hanging on by a thread, and I don't want them to go, "Oh, fuck." Here's this person representing us and they hate their life, so maybe I should end my life, because I care about shit like that. I care about people. I mean, like, the reason why I check on so many of you guys, you know, like you're one of those people, especially people who deal with chronic pain and mental health, people who have fluctuating disabilities. You're the
hmm,
ones that I worry about the most when I reach out to you, because I never know which version I'm gonna get. Are you dealing with it?
right,
Are you okay? Or are you really in a lot of physical or mental pain? And I'll deal with either way because I care, but you're the ones I worry about the most, because it's like if they're totally blind, I know where they're at. They're blind.
right,
They're not gaining or
yeah,
losing. But for someone like you who really is in the shit at times, you're one of the few like the people that when I check on, I'm like, man, I really, really hope she's okay. But I do know there are times that you like now, like you're fighting it. You're not at your best, but it could be a lot worse.
yeah. I think that like that really stands out to me. Like, I don't want somebody that's just going to make it all negative.
Right.
Because like the biggest issue that I've had my whole life, that's always the core of everything, it seems, is being really bipolar.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I mean, I don't know if this is really depressing, but when I was like 9, I think I found out what the word suicidal was.
Sure.
And I went to my mom and I told her, hey, I'm suicidal. I just figured out what this is. This is what I'm feeling. I want to die. And she would tell me, you're too young. Like, you can't be suicidal. You can't. So up until I was 15, which I'll tell you about,
Sure.
I didn't have anyone to talk to. So I would go to the internet, and when you go on the internet and look up things about depression and bipolar, if you look for testimonials, the only people that I could find were people that were saying, you know, I want to die and I'm 50 years old. I wanted to die my whole life and it never got better. And now I'm going to go jump off a bridge. And you see so many posts like that, and it makes you think it must be so common that it's impossible for me to ever get better. And that's just a small group of people on the internet. But of course, the only people that are going to be posting about this are people that they don't have everything together. They don't know how to cope. They don't understand how they have going on with them, because if you can cope and treat with your own illness on your own, there's really no reason to go on the internet and talk about it, like on Reddit, and ask for help or anything like that. So I would see a lot of posts like that. And up until I started getting help, I really thought I'm going to be one of those people that it's impossible for me to get better. So I should just go ahead and die.
Yeah.
So it's important to me that people show, yeah, one day I felt like I have to die, but maybe next week things will get a little bit better.
Yeah, you start to lose your self-worth, and you really start to self-loathe and just beat the shit out of yourself. And it's hard to kind of come to terms with anything. And the fact that, like, you know, like you were saying earlier, like, you know, when you don't have any like heroes or anybody to look up to, and there's no one coming out and being brave and brazen about, hey, I deal with mental health, this is me. And that's why, I mean, again, that's why I do it, because it's like I don't want to see younger versions of you and I out there. Like, I want to make this life as easy. Like, hopefully we leave something behind to where someone, like the next group of us, doesn't have to try as hard. And because, I mean, I'm still, as much as people perceive me to be a very strong person, I mean, just as recent of the past 2 weeks, it's like my anxiety took me down a really dark path. I wasn't suicidal, but I was really low on life and just down on everything. And it's just like, no matter, and I thought I was beyond some of this stuff, and I'm not. And sometimes when you're in the thick of it, you are like, man, like, am I just cursed? Is this like, am I, like, when you talk about like being broken, like, am I really broken? Like, is there no hope for me? Am I only as good as what I am right now, or the days that my good health days?
It's hard, because when you're feeling like very depressed or very anxious, no matter what it is, if it's something mental health, it's like, when I feel okay, I can recognize, yes, I feel sad right now, but that's an emotion. That's a human emotion, and it's going to be okay. It's going to pass. But then when you're super depressed, your depression or whatever tells you this is the end. Like, you have no sense that you had before. You said, I hate my life. I need to die. I can't do it. Yeah. And you believe it.
Now, have you ever had, and I would imagine you have with someone who has chronic pain, have you ever had so many bad health days physically? So in my case, eyes, in your case, just your body, where you've had enough bad health days and you're kind of praying and you're kind of just hoping, like, if I could just get my body back to where it was however long ago, I would be happy. And then you have one of those days, and then your mental health goes sideways anyway and goes, I'm depressed for another reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the time when I am trying to focus on my chronic pain, that means that it's really bad. Because like I've told you before, I've had chronic pain and depression and all this my whole life. Sure. So I didn't even know that for people that didn't have this pain, at all. Like, I didn't know that people normally don't walk around in pain all day. But sometimes it goes beyond that threshold of what I'm used to. And it's just like, all that I want right now is to be able to get up and walk out the door.
Yeah.
And I would be so overjoyed. This would fix everything. And then I go out the door and I'm like, oh, now I'm anxious because I'm in a grocery store and there's too many people around me.
Right. Or you start comparing yourself to other people. It's like, oh, hey guys, I went through a door. And everyone's like, yeah, we just went through 8 of them. What's your point? And, you know, but
yeah.
and really it's a made up conversation in your head. But like, that's what you're perceiving people, because that's something we've talked about on here a lot, is like our expectations, because our expectations, our ceiling is so low for people with disabilities, whether it's mental, physical, whatever. People are like, oh my God, you graduated high school. Wow. And it's like, yeah, but I also did a year in college. Wow. Oh, I have my own place. Wow. And it's like, but there's still like, everything is a shock that you can do it. But us internally, we sometimes go, we want to say, hey, like for me, I got my own place at work and I have this podcast. I want to be like, yeah, those are great things. And they are. But when I feel like when I say it outwardly, I feel like I'm saying it to people that are like, yes, I also have a job and I also have a place. Not only that, my kids have places and my kids also have jobs. And it's like, yeah, I guess it just downplays what I've been through. But at the same time, they haven't gone through the barriers and they haven't had to endure everything that we had to. So it really is an accomplishment. I mean, it's an accomplishment no matter who moves out and all that. But it's so much harder for us to have anything. And, you know, that's why it's like we are still the last minority to kind of get the right benefits and be treated with real respect. I mean, we've made a lot of strides in the gay community and the black community, women, and so on, and well, rightly we should, but as people that are included in all those communities, the disabled community, like we are people that are kind of always forgotten, and so and it makes it hard because we are trying our best to just fit into society, but a society that's not ever going to be, as of right now, is not made for us, and so we have to find our own ways to thrive.
It really sucks in that, like, thought that the reason that so many people that are disabled are behind where they could be, or they're having such a hard time, is just how I live in America. So the health system is not geared towards me. I mean, I don't think it's geared towards anyone, but that's a personal opinion. But when someone who's disabled goes to the doctor or the hospital and they're asking for help, it's like these people are in a position of authority, but they also seem to not really know anything or care. They're really dismissive. So, of course, every single community goes through people being like that, pushing you down. But when you're disabled, you can't get up and dedicate your life to fighting for your freedom or whatever it is from the mental health system a lot of times. A lot of people can. There's a lot of great advocates. But I know they must, behind the scenes, have those bad days where they can't even get up and talk into a microphone or see people. So it's just a lot of things go unsaid or unheard.
I advocate all the time, and I'm around a lot of known advocates, and it's nothing different. I mean, they go through the same shit. It's just they're in a place where it kind of trickles off of them at times. But there are days where it catches up to them for sure. I mean, this shit is, like I said, that's why I try to show the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there are days that are like, okay, this is not that bad. Today's going to be a good day. I'm having a really good eye day, but my good eye day is not a good eye day. It's a shit eye day for you. But for me, it's great. And I think that's why, like, when one time you and I were talking and you were like having a lot of problem with your chronic pain, and you were saying about your room and how you wanted to clean it. And I'm like, well, why don't you just like clean one corner every day, and eventually you'll just get it done. Because it's like, I know how to work around, like, to me, that's what I will say. One of the better qualities about myself is like, I know how to work with whatever you're giving me. As long as I know what I'm getting, just tell me. And because I have so many friends with chronic pain issues, or mental health issues, it's like, hey, okay, what can you do? Because that's the problem. We get into this mold where we start to go, well, I can't do shit because I can't walk, or I can't do. It's like, no, you can do some things. We just got to figure out how to work with it and use your strengths.
Yeah. But I think that's Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, sweetie. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that having people around you that can push you to think, okay, what can I do, is really empowering. And that's one thing that I think, disabled people, no matter what it is, that's a good quality that I think comes from being disabled, is that a lot of people can look back and say, I can't do this like this, but I can find another way to do it. I can work around everything because I have to. And I think that's a skill that everybody should have, to be adaptable, whether you're disabled or not.
Yeah.
But at least that's a silver lining, or something I could say, like, at least I feel like I'm adaptable, because, everything I have is, if I have flares, I mean, I don't have a disability, like you, that's constant. Like, I'm blind. I have like autoimmune disorders. I have mental health, like that kind of thing, that some days it's good, and then the next day I have no clue what's going to happen. So I have to be adaptable.
Right. Now my vision does fluctuate. I can see some, but like it's, but my bad days are really bad and my good days are okay for the average person anyway.
Right.
But I will say, for you have two disabilities that people can just go, oh, come on, you're faking it, because it's all your shit is internal. It's mental and physical inside. And it's like for me, mine is very obvious. Well, relatively obvious, because a lot of people don't think, they go, well, you don't look this and you don't act it because I fly around corners and I don't use canes and dogs and all that, because I can see some. But I do more than the average person in my situation, just because I don't know. I'm bullheaded. I don't know. But I know so many people with invisible disabilities. They get a lot of ridicule from, medical professions and people alike, who just are like, yeah, okay, but you're not in a walker, you don't have a walker, you're not in a wheelchair. You're like, come on, you're faking it. It's like, I have lupus, or I have whatever, because my body is on fire, but I'm pushing myself just to go to the store.
Right.
So
that makes me think about the first 15 years of my life. Like I said, I was not really allowed to go to the doctor. I mean, there was a lot of neglect going on there, but I think this really speaks to it, that everybody was telling me, like I said, my mom's telling me, you can't be suicidal, you're too young, or they'd be like, maybe you do have depression or something like this, but it's not that bad. What you're telling me is incredibly bad, and that's just not statistically probable. But so nobody believed me. But when I was 15, I felt that I needed to go to a psychiatrist, and my parents were not doing that at all. So it got so bad that they were sitting in the living room. I picked up a knife. I went in front of them and I said, if you don't take me right now, I will slit my throat right here. And the whole plan of me going to the psych ward was because I knew that I would be forced by the hospital to go to a psychiatrist after. And once that happened and I was in the hospital and medical professionals were telling everybody this is really severe and really disabling and bad, that's when people believed me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still don't. A lot of people still don't think that it's that bad. I mean, I started figuring out about my mental illness first, but then through that, I found out, a lot of the things that I'm going through physically that I thought, I'm just depressed, so it's making me be in this pain. It's not that. It's a real disorder, like my rheumatoid arthritis. I really thought that, everybody has this pain, but mine is just worse because I'm depressed and it's not treated. But then I went to the doctor and they're like, yeah, you're all fucked up. I have rheumatoid arthritis and ankylosing spondylitis, and things like that, fibromyalgia. And they're trying to see if I might have lupus now. That's the thing, that it runs in my family, a lot of autoimmune conditions, and most of the women end up getting diagnosed with lupus. So I kind of went through that, proving to everybody I'm actually need help and this is bad with my mental health. And now I'm trying to get more of a clear answer to show everybody this is really what's happening with me physically too. Because nobody believes that. I push myself very hard. I push myself way too far, honestly. But just because somebody can push themselves doesn't mean that they don't have something going on.
No, yeah. I mean, and that sometimes we pay for those days, right? Because we we're like, oh my
Definitely.
God, we haven't had a good health day in a minute. And so we're just
Hmm.
like, I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to use, like for me, I'm going to use my eyes to the best of my ability. I'm going to burn them out today because I want to read. I want to do this. I want to watch a whole show. And then my eyes are like shit the next day. And I'm like, oh, God. So I can only imagine,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of people who deal with chronic pain. That's what happens. Sometimes it's like, man, I can't walk. And it's like, oh my God, I can walk a block. And then you walk the block back and you get in the house and you're still okay, but maybe later that day or the next day, it's like, oh my God, I can't walk again. Like, why did I push myself?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to enjoy yourself in the moment too, and you got to
Yeah.
enjoy your life at times. You can't just be stuck in your room crying and punching a pillow and watching the same old bullshit shows you've constantly watched. You got to try to live one way or another.
Yeah. I definitely pushed myself and then end up paying for it the next day. Um, Especially because a lot of physical issues that I have are in my joints and my muscles having, you know, issues. When you go out and run around and walk, I end up coming back home and I'm like, "Ugh, I'm so sore from running. And I'm also so sore from having this chronic pain. And now it's 10 times worse. Then you end up going to the doctor and having to take something like prednisone or
Oh yeah,
whatever. And that fucks you up. And it's like
yeah,
the side of just everything adds up,
yeah.
but you have to take advantage of when it's not.
Yeah, that's something I'm really big on is taking advantage of your good health days. It's like if you are procrastinating on doing your dishes, but you're now having a good health day, do your dishes now because another week may go by. Like when I started doing
Hmm.
this, the podcast, I started recording them far ahead. Like this will probably be like 208 or something, and 200 just came
Hmm.
out. So you're talking about 2 months from now. I do that on purpose because I may have a week where I'm just like, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like life is just not pleasant to me right now. I don't feel like talking to people or at least not recording a podcast or whatever. I just get in a mood. So I go, you know what? I'm going to
Hmm.
prepare for me. And so it's like I have 8 episodes in 8 or 9 episodes ready to go. Boom, good to go. I don't have to. All I got to do is just publish it and do a little small write up, but I don't have to do any of the other stuff. So it's like it's just me preparing for me because I know there may be a time coming up, and hopefully not, but I may have a time like I just went through a large sickness and my anxiety flared up. That was a time I did not want to record. So it's like just prepare for yourself, know you, and know the workarounds with your health.
Right. I felt like every time that I feel good, I just start cleaning and organizing because I'm like, that's really what is hard for me, is cleaning. Like with mental health, obviously, you end up not being able to clean or not wanting to clean. I mean, I have bipolar disorders, schizophrenia, OCD, personality disorders, so that contributes to me not wanting to get up and clean. But then also, when I clean, I get up and I'm walking around, bending over, picking up things, and then that triggers the arthritis or fibromyalgia or anything. So I do get in a row where I'm like, I can't clean. Then once I feel like I can, I got to get it all done right now.
Yeah, I will say this as a person who cares about you and has gotten to know you a little bit, and I know I haven't seen you on your bad days, but for all the shit that you just named off and have named off through this whole episode, you
Hmm.
handle it really well.
I think that's a compliment to me. Thank you. I know obviously everybody's gonna have bad days, so whether you handle it well or not, there's something's gonna go wrong at one point or another.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I think makes me be able to handle and deal with what I have going on with me, is just that over time, especially, I'm 21 now. I said, I first got help when I was 15. Um, and what I have, a bunch of autoimmune conditions and mental health, is really something that takes a long time to figure it out. Um, I went through that just by myself, not knowing what was going on, and my life was so depressing. It was nothing. I didn't do anything. At that point, I was a teenager. I just went to school, barely made it through, came home, and couldn't do anything. So spending that long thinking I can't do anything and being so sad, I got cabin fever. And at some point, when I became an adult, I was like, I need to do something different. I can't just be letting it bring me down. So I think that long time of being isolated and not understanding, it pushed me to be like, I can make this better. I don't have to live like this.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's kind of hard when you're stuck in the mental filth and the physical problems for so long. You kind of lose track of reality, and it's almost like you don't, even though maybe a week goes by, it feels like years have gone by, months at least, where you're just like, what? Like, I lost so much time, and you're trying to, like, you really feel like you're making this ultimate comeback, but it's like, man, I just did this. And sometimes you feel like you've gained so much ground in your life, and then all of a sudden you feel like you fell back and you lost. But it's not necessarily that. A lot of times it's just you're staying put. And it's unfortunately our realities, our lives are a little tougher than most, and we just kind of have to keep pulling ourselves up. So, like, what keeps you going throughout these days? Like, you deal with a lot. So,
yeah, one thing that is the biggest to me with my mental health is when people ask me, what do you live for? If I tell them I'm suicidal and they're like, what do you want to live for? I'll be like, I don't care about anything. I want to die except my little sister, because we obviously grew up in the same environment, and I ended up being the kid that dealt with it by being loud and angry and causing fights, but she had to be the sister that was low key and pleasing everybody to keep the peace. And when she got into middle school, I could kind of tell that she was depressed as well. And just thinking about what I've done to myself, whether it's self-harm or making myself stay in my room, and then I end up feeling like my room is the only thing that exists. There's nothing outside of me. Imagining her going through that breaks my heart so much that I can't let myself do it. I have to at least be an example that you don't have to suffer like that. Yeah. So definitely family. But aside from that, I feel like I have a lot of self-love, even though I do talk shit on myself. I think everybody does at some point. But I think I've always been really confident and outspoken, and I feel like, I'm me. If you don't like it, fuck you. I like it. I'm just myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like I want to be good for myself. You have to, in this situation, it comes down to, you need to value yourself and you need to love yourself enough to get up and take care of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. And I hope this can echo through your head when you are going through some of those really bad days. Because and I'm not mocking you at all, because I've been here and done that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had these mantras and I've gone, yeah, and this and that, and then I've had days where I'm like, fuck everything I just said 3 weeks ago. I hate myself and I am awful. I am garbage. Life sucks.
Mm-hmm.
This is not worth it. Forget having a little sister, or in your case, but me, my cat, or my mom, or all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck all them. They don't love me anyway. And you start thinking the most nonsensical things, and it's like,
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just hope that you, keep that in mind, what you did say. I mean, I'm not saying you're being a hypocrite, because like I said, I get it. I get the
Mm-hmm.
constant influx of random good thoughts, then they change to bad thoughts. So just keep remembering that, because like, you are a warrior, you are a person that's a fighter, and you're a really good person. You're a beautiful girl. Like, you're gonna be all right if you just keep trying to get to the bottom of your issues and keep pushing, and keep advocating too, because you keep being a person to show that what a woman with chronic pain and mental health is going through. Like, and don't worry about anybody going, oh, she's crazy. Fuck that. Like, they don't know what crazy really is, because they haven't seen you on your bad days. So it's like, but as a person, I wouldn't judge you either way. Just keep being you and keep doing what you're doing. You'll be all right. You just have to keep weathering these damn storms, unfortunately.
Yeah. I feel like what stops me the most, or makes me think, like, start spiraling like that, is my mental health. Because that's a thought process. But in that, my physical health, obviously, autoimmune disorders, chronic pain, and depression and anxiety have a very strong link. They have a very strong comorbidity. And I would think most of my life, like, I'm this depressed and I have all this pain, but it's normal to me. So I'm sure it's just whatever. I can deal with it. But once I started going to, my rheumatologist and all of that, kind of feeling a little better, I know that whether it's the reason or not, if I feel in less pain, the depression is 10 times better. So that's something I'm struggling with to remind myself to take care of both, because it's always been a focus on my mental health in my life, but the physical is just stuff that runs in my family and it's so normalized to me. I'm just like, whatever, but I need to take care of both. You have to take care of both.
Yeah,
and that makes it so much better.
Yeah, because I know when I have good health days, minus mental stuff, I do have much better mental health days. When my eyes are doing well, or my chronic pain's down, and my body's doing what it's supposed to be doing, I physically or mentally, I'm usually, I have my occasional random mental health days that'll throw me for a loop, but for the most part, I'm usually smiling, and I'm very grateful, and I enjoy life so much more because it's so restricting, and it just starts taking away from, like, I want to enjoy life. Like, I don't want to look out the window and see people playing and having fun, and I'm stuck indoors. So, like, and that's something as an adult, especially an adult with a disability, independence is everything. And, and getting out and just living my life and dating and having my place and just, it takes a lot out of you, and that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people just go, well, yeah, you have this disability, and it's like, yeah, but that's just, like, that's one thing. Like, I'm still paying my bills. I'm still checking on people, looking out for people. I'm still working, having another job. I'm still doing all these other things. I still have to shower and feed myself. It's not like that shit just goes away just because you have a disability. I guess you can get a caregiver or whatever, but, like, no. So, unless you need that, sure. But, like, for me, like, I want to push the boundaries of everything. And, in my case, mine is not as physical as yours, but as far as, like, mobility. But it's like, no, man, I got my life for the most part together. I'm just trying to keep me together. That's the hardest part, is keeping me on the right track, because sometimes it's almost like a kid with, like, keys or bubbles. It's just like you see one thing, and you're like, ooh, what's over there? Because you're just like, I know the path I'm on is the right path, but this fucking path is taking forever. I can't see the end of this thing, and I want off because I see something over there that is shiny, and it looks like something would be fun. But then you go over there and you fall through a manhole, and you're like, oh, God damn it, I should have stayed on the path. But that's life.
I've definitely met a lot of people that when I tell them, about any of my disabilities, people either have, like, one of two reactions. One is, oh my God, if I were you, I would kill myself. I don't know how you do this. That is so insane and horrible. And when you hear that, it's like, yeah, it is horrible. And I guess you're kind of validating what I am dealing with. But at the same time, I don't get to think about it like that. I have to think, yeah, this is horrible, but that's it. It's just there. I can't do anything about it. Or people, like you said, will be like, oh, well, you have this, it's whatever. I think people think that when you have a disability, all you focus on is your disability. You don't have to go to work because everybody helps you, or you don't have to go to school because everybody helps you, but that's not the case. No. I think majority of people that are getting help and coasting through shit easily in life, it has nothing to do with their disability.
Yeah, for sure.
The world doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't stop at all. Everything continues to go on. Everybody still does their thing, and you're still doing your thing. And, no one's going to sit around and feel sorry for you your whole life. So it's like, you got to grow some balls, lady balls, whatever. And you got to fucking dig down deep, and you got to keep moving. And it's like, mental health is automatically included in the package with having another disability. So you have that on top. So you essentially have two of them no matter what. And again,
Mhm.
but life is still life. Like, you still, if you want to have kids, you want to get married, like, all those things are still possibilities, but they're not going to come knocking on your door either. And,
Right.
it's unlikely that you're just going to find your dream job at working at home and, it's just you playing with cats. Like, it sounds nice, but at the end of the day, like, you're going to have to go out and do some shit. And,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, a lot of people do. Sometimes they pity us or they
Mhm.
downplay us. And it's like, oh,
Right.
well, you get a monthly check, and you have people looking out for you, working on you hand and foot, and all that. It's like, no, I don't have that shit. And yeah,
The comment about the disability check is always makes me laugh because people genuinely think that disabled people are getting such a huge check that they don't have to go to work or do anything.
yeah,
But the check is not, it's probably, I don't think I've ever met a single person on disability, which I've met a lot, that are like, yeah, this disability check definitely is enough for what it needs to be. They're always like, it's good to have this little bit of amount of money, but it's not
no,
fixing
yeah,
anything. I mean, that makes me think about, this is related to the money, and also, just, you have something going on, but you have to push. Like I was telling you about my insurance, I currently don't think that I have insurance for another month. I don't have it right now, which is really devastating considering that I have like six, seven, I don't even know how many doctors. I have a whole Ziploc gallon bag of medication, and this, my insurance ends and I can't have it for a month right when I need my refills. So I don't have my meds. And then on top, I have something new going on with my adrenal glands, that we're trying to figure out if it's a tumor or if it's autoimmune. I haven't been having a period or anything like that. I have PCOS now from my adrenal glands being enlarged, but I can't go get that checked out right now at all. No matter, like, I do not have money to go and do all of that without insurance. So I have all of this going on. Even if I got a check, it's not going to make everything better. I'm in a manic depressive episode. That's probably the worst that I've had with my bipolar in years. But while all this is happening, I'm still going out. I mean, I just came back from staying at someone's house for 3 days. And I just feel like if I don't push myself while all of this is happening, then it will not end well.
yeah.
And I think a lot of able people don't understand, like, it's so hard for me to come and hang out with y'all, but I have to. They're just like, oh, it's just another day. Like, they don't see how much that means to be able to go out while you're still struggling and kind of cope with that and feel normal.
Well, what a lot of people don't understand, or a lot of people also don't discuss enough, is like your bed, your room where you are. That is your safe spot, but it's also the place where your demons sleep. Like, they live there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you come home and you sit there and you do spend, instead of going out for 3 days and hanging out with people, you sit there with them and they're hanging out with you and they are just standing over you, telling you that you suck. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's not going to change. And so it's like you really do have to come out your comfort zone. You do have to leave your place. You have to go elsewhere. And but a lot of people don't talk about it enough, because it's like, yeah, like I love being in my place. I love leaving work and just kicking off my shoes and throwing myself on the couch and going, here, my cat comes and climbs on me. I love it. But at the same time, if I spend too much time here, my demons are also going to crawl up on the couch with me and go, hey, you're an asshole. It's like, oh, nice, thanks.
Yeah.
It's
I've gone through periods of my life where I only stay in bed, and I've gone through periods of my life where I'm off running around somewhere else and I'm not coming home because I hate to be in my room at that moment, because that is where I go to sleep and I'm so depressed I can't sleep and I start thinking shitty things. But through that, whether I was home or never home, just like the biggest takeaway that I would ever tell anyone with a disability is, no matter where you are, you do not need to cope with outside influences. You do not need to take drugs. It's in you. Through what I went, I ended up having problems with addiction, which I still have. And I would, take a lot of hard drugs because I thought, I'm sitting in my room, this sucks, I can't deal with it. Or I'm out of my room and I'm so afraid to go home, I can't deal with it. I just want everybody that I meet to know that it's in you to do it yourself. You do not need to take a pill that will make you feel better for 2 hours and then you come down and you feel like shit. You are able to do it yourself without fucking up your body or drinking or whatever.
Yeah.
That's part of the process. Addiction, you don't choose for that to come and go. It just ends up happening. So of course, sometimes that is part of the journey, but if you're in that, it makes it so much worse. And when I got sober, I realized, wow, I feel so much better that it's insane. I still feel like shit, but the way that I feel better is so insane. It's like I might as well not have any pain at all.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you kind of gain a lot of confidence of like, my mind is strong. I can deal with this huge issue on my own.
You still there?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, you just paused. No, I absolutely hear you. What is kind of, so we can finish off the air here, but let's just kind of wrap this up. Obviously I want you to promote your podcast, your TikTok. But like, what is, you're only 21, so like, what are you seeking for in life besides getting to the bottom of all your physical ailments? What is something you really want to do? Like, what kind of goals do you have for the future? I'm not going to say, tell me what you want to be in 5 years, but just what is something,
right.
What are some things that you dream about, some things that you really want to achieve in the upcoming years of your life?
I am such a big, proponent of, I want my life, no matter what I do, to give me time to just have fun and not worry or just relax. What I want for myself is to get to a point with my job or my friends or anything where I feel like I'm comfortable, I'm happy. And I think a lot of people in my life are very big on leisure, especially my family. So to me, the best thing that I could ever do is lay down and relax. So I want to be able to do that without, something stopping me from being able to relax. I just want to be comfortable, and I'm going to have to come to terms with my pain even more than I ever have if I want to be comfortable like that. But I guess that's part of growing up and having a disability.
Yeah. Of course, old age will kick in eventually too. So your pain will be, it'll get, will extend and become worse. And so, no, I hear you. But that's good though. And that's the thing. You don't really, especially at your age, you don't even necessarily need to have a set goal, but you have like a lifestyle in a certain way you want to live. You still want to be able to, whatever you're doing, no matter what it is, you want to try to be able to enjoy it and be happy doing it. And sometimes that's all you kind of need. That's the guideline, the outliner, if you will, the blueprint. And then you just kind of figure out the thing. Because like me doing this, I was anti-talking. Like I never wanted to stand out and lead and do any of that garbage. And then it's like, oh, this is the thing you're actually good at. Oh, shit. So it's like you just never know what you're going to fall into. But if you kind of stick to your principles and stick to the things that mean most to you, a lot of that will kind of fall into place at some point. But for you, obviously, the main goal is to kind of figure out, get to the bottom of maybe giving you some sort of retrieval from your physical and mental health.
Yeah. Me personally, I love to be outside. If I'm feeling up for it, I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. I like doing things for the experience. So just to me, I just want to try new things and figure out what makes me the most happy to do for, a career or whatever, and then spend that time that I might get to relax to just be okay. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like, to be around a lot of people or be outside all day. But me personally, those are the things that I want to do in my life. I just want to do what makes me actually happy. I know what it feels like to be the opposite of happy. I just want to be content.
Yeah. Yeah. When you hit like rock bottom, whether it's physically, mentally, whatever, it's addiction, whatever, but you hit rock bottom, you want to be as far away from whatever that was. Because you're like, whatever that is, I want to be nowhere near that. Because that,
yeah.
And even when you, like I said about my anxiety recently, like my anxiety maybe was on a 7 out of 10. I've seen 10. I know that was not close to a 10, but I also know it's scary that I even hit a 7. So it's like,
right.
I'm like, oh my God, that's only 3 over from a 10. Even though it takes a lot to get to a 10, it's like, just the fact that I even was creeping close to it. It's like,
right.
yeah, no thanks. I want to be happy. I want to stay with my anxiety on a 3. We'll keep it at a 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I fully understand. So where can people find you?
My TikTok is woof, PT with a period and then the number 2. My Instagram is _W with a period and then OOF, like woof. I think that's really the only public social media I have.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's good. Don't hang up. Like I said, we'll finish before.
Yeah.
But I really do appreciate you for coming on. I know you weren't blowing me off. You were just, life was just kicking you in the ass, and I'm happy we made this happen and you got to tell your story. But like I said, I am grateful for your friendship, and like I said, as I said off air, hopefully if you like I said, you need anything, please reach out. You don't got to do this shit alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this whole time I've been, like I said, not blowing you off, but just so much is happening that I feel like a lot of people I have not been able to talk to. And you were talking about the brain fog earlier. I think that's totally what it is. I can't even think to talk to somebody. But I mean, I kind of feel like that right now, and I'm just rambling and saying whatever. But
no, you're fine.
I don't know. I mean, I felt okay today.
Yeah, you're doing really good. But I'm going to wrap this up and then we'll just keep talking. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. And, it was a fun one. All right, y'all, we are getting out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was like a spur of the moment thing, kind of talked yesterday, and all of a sudden we wanted to get this done. And so we did. And so she was one that I was really, I was sought after. I really wanted to have her on because she is a person that I care about, and when I see her, I know she has a lot of moments of struggle, and it's just like I want people to hear people like her because I want you to know that she exists, because there are a lot of people like her and need to hear someone like her to know that it's okay to talk about it and that you're not broken and that you're not a bad person. It's just you're dealing with some shit. And so anyway, guys, I hope you liked it. I'm going to get out of here. Mr. Bullet is right here. He was licking his crotch. Bullet, what do you have to say for yourself when it comes to your crotch licking, sir? I will move the mic as close. No, I want you to talk into the mic. Don't jump. Relax. Look at the microphone. You're ruining the episode. People want to hear you. All right, guys, I'm sorry. He refuses. So he's such a finicky, just petrified little cat. It just any movement or anything. Oh my god, what was that? So I don't want to ruin this episode by our nonsense. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if anybody needs to reach out to me, wants to talk, you need a friend, I will get back to you. I am at My Blurred Opinion on TikTok and Instagram. Just say hello. And if you want to find me even on Facebook, it's Timothy J. West. You can go to like the filter part. You type in the city. Just type in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. I should be the one that comes up. I have a podcast microphone right in front of me, so should be it. But anyway, thank you guys for being here with me. I will see you guys next week. Thanks for everything. Goodbye, everybody.